this was born out of your experience at Brown University. You've been a longtime professor there of Africana studies. And these conversations, you say, started in your classroom.
Yes, indeed. So, long before we started talking about what quote unquote structural racism during the 2016 election, a decade earlier, I'd begun to see this idea that America had answered the problem of societal racism by creating anti-discrimination law, the Voting Rights Act and Civil Rights Act, where discrimination was rendered illegal. That had somehow become the evidence of the ending of racial discrimination as a society-wide phenomenon. So my students, educated at some of the best schools in the country, were completely unaware of what were profound unlevel playing fields, profound impact from policy and practice to create tremendous inequality, and they just had no sense of how all of those things fit together. So over the years, they would say things like, why do we need affirmative action? Didn't we end that with, end the need for that with these laws? Why do we need, other kinds of DEI things? What's the point? Now, they just think if there's a big disparity, it must just be the Black people, the women, or, the other people of color are not smart enough, or they weren't dedicated enough, or disciplined enough. And that just became the dominant story. The more I dug in the classroom, the more I realized this has to be addressed. I worry about how uncomfortable people immediately get when it comes to solving the truth of racism. It's like everybody wants it to be a couple of bad apples, right? Well, we already know that's not true for all kinds of huge social issues, and yet we don't recoil from it the way we do around race. And I just want to encourage the audience to sit with that and to say that our disposition is part of the problem. It's not just that the problem is horrible and not likely to be 100% fixed anytime soon. It's that we have this weight that we carry around, which I think is attached to sort of guilt and exhaustion and fatigue. And we just want to have a fantasy, right? We're not comfortable as much as we used to be with difficult truths, right? And I just want to encourage people, we're not going to solve any of this. Climate change, war, Middle Eastern conflict, none of this is going to happen like if somebody wakes up and had a happy day, right? It's going to be a lot of hard work. So I just want to put that on the table.